Alright, this is my exploring change assignment. I'm doing a video this time. So for part one, how I've changed. When I first came to Ohio State, my goals were very broad and mostly centered around simply working hard, excelling academically, and positioning myself for a successful career in finance. My academic identity statement from my launch seminar emphasized ambition and achievement, but it left little room for balance or any reflection. At that time, I underestimated the importance of mental health, resilience, and adaptability in reaching long-term success. So over the past few years, my priorities have definitely shifted significantly. I now recognize that success is not just about grades, internships, or achievements. It is also about building sustainable habits that protect my well-being. Initially, I believed that as long as I kept working harder than everyone else, everything else would take care of itself. But through experiences in both classes and extracurriculars, I've learned that taking care of myself is what makes me capable of reaching these long-term goals. My interests have also sharpened. I remain committed to career in finance, but I now care more about maintaining a sense of balance and longevity in my work. I've developed skills that directly support this balance. For example, in my organizational behavior course last year, I learned about stress management and workplace motivation, which gave me a vocabulary to better understand what I was already experiencing. And then in my writing and English classes, I tackle projects that force me to manage stress by breaking large assignments into smaller, more manageable steps. One example is my STEM literacy paper, which I've mentioned several times. It felt very overwhelming at first, but it became an opportunity for me to practice my patience and organization and structure. These experiences gave me tools for resilience that I could build upon in the classroom and in the real world. Unexpectedly, my internships and professional experiences also changed my understanding of how I view change. While I expected to primarily help me build technical skills, they instead highlighted how essential it is for me to manage my time, relationships, and personal energy. Long hours and intense deadlines show me that no matter how strong your work ethic is, you cannot ignore your mental health. I had to learn to prioritize exercise, social connections, and reflection as part of my success. This realization has been one of the most important shifts in how I view my own identity, short-term goals, and long-term goals. Part 2. How that change took place. A specific change I experienced was learning how to manage overwhelming projects by breaking them into smaller, more achievable tasks. Early in my college career, I would approach assignments or goals by tackling them all at once, which led to stress and frustration. The turning point was this literacy paper I mentioned. At first, I procrastinated and felt overwhelmed by how much research and writing was required, but then I realized quickly that this approach was unsustainable if I wanted to perform well on this assignment while also maintaining a balance in my life. The process of change began with feedback from a professor who encouraged me to outline the assignment into clear steps. I started small by breaking up the assignment into several stages, research, brainstorming, and revising each part before moving on. I also created a timeline to spread the work across several weeks to get rid of the overwhelming feeling. The result was not really just a stronger paper, but I felt more accomplished and I felt like I had a more manageable process that reduced my stress. The barriers I faced in making this change were mostly internal. I had to overcome my perfectionist tendencies and the mindset that everything needed to be done all at once. At first, I was frustrating to pace myself because I always like to get stuff done right away. But over time, I saw that the steady, incremental work produced a better outcome and honestly made me feel better as a whole. This change also impacted how I engaged and interacted with others. By managing my own stress better, I was more willing to be social with my friends and collaborate with my peers, and also be more open to feedback. The emotions I felt during this process ranged from a ton of doubt, frustration at the beginning, to more of a sense of relief and pride at the end. Learning to slow things down and break them into steps gave me confidence that I could handle larger challenges, whether that's academic or in the real world or professional field. It also reinforced the idea that maintaining my well-being does not mean sacrificing ambition. It just makes my goals more achievable. Part 3. Processes I will carry into the future. The processes I learned through these experiences will continue to shape how I approach both my career and personal life. One approach I will repeat is breaking down large, overwhelming tasks into smaller, manageable pieces. In finance, where projects like complex models or pitch books can be very time intensive and stressful, this strategy will help me stay organized, stress-free, efficient, and resilient. I will also continue to set boundaries for myself by making time for exercise, relationships, and reflection. These habits directly support my long-term well-being, which will only make me a stronger professional in the real world. One process I would not repeat is ignoring warning signs of burnout. In the past, I sometimes pushed through stress until it became unmanageable. I now see the signs early, and I address them before they escalate. The barriers I expect to continue to face in the real world include a high pressure culture, especially in the finance industry, where long hours are expected and competition is very prevalent. To overcome these challenges, I will rely on the strategies I've built: time management, balance, and leaning on a support system like mentors, peers, friends, and family. Looking ahead, I also plan to engage with communities who share a common interest in promoting mental health and well-being in professional environments. This could include mentorship programs, wellness initiatives within firms, or advocacy groups that address workplace culture. By connecting with others who value success and sustainability, I can continue to bring more awareness to this issue, especially in my demographic. A lot of students need to hear about this. What I'm most proud of is how much I've adapted my mindset. I no longer see well-being and professional success as opposing forces. Instead, I see them as mutually dependent. Protecting my mental health is not just a personal goal of mine, but it's also gonna be a necessity for my professional growth and my future. This reflection has given me a large and clear understanding of how to navigate change, and now I feel more confident moving into high pressure environments with the strategies that will help me thrive. And that's it. I guess writing this paper kind of reminded me how much I've grown since I started college. Back then I didn't really focus on too much of a balance, but now I think I see the importance of balance. The strategies I've mentioned before, like time management, breaking projects into smaller steps, these are really important in not just my life now, but throughout the rest of my life. And I'm proud that I've learned to adapt when challenges come up and to protect my well-being while still chasing my professional goals. I'd say this process made me realize that resilience and well-being are habits that I could strive for after college.